Found this strange tag near Gettysburg downstream in a creek from where the battle took place. It appears to be silver. What is it? This triangular metal badge with the initials QMB and neatly drilled holes in the corners is a very mysterious artifact, especially considering that it was found near Gettysburg, the site of one of the most famous battles of the American Civil War. Its shape, material, presumably silver, and hand engraving indicate an item of personal use associated with either army uniforms or equestrian ammunition. Similar tokens were used in the 19th century as identification tags for saddles or horse harnesses. They were riveted to belts or bridles to identify the owner, especially in military settings where inventory was marked. Silver or silver-plated metal was used because it is resistant to corrosion and preserves engravings well. The initials could belong to an officer, a rancher, or a supplier of military equipment. The 4 holes are likely for attaching rivets or leather straps. The triangular shape is less common than oval or shield-shaped tokens, making this item even more unique. Suspicion of an army or cavalry origin is particularly appropriate because of its proximity to the Battle of Gettysburg. It may have been lost during the battle or in the years after it by local residents associated with horses or troops. It is a small but telling artifact, bearing the imprint of a personal story in the whirlwind of a great war. Found in thrift store, leather bag with strange shape and Renwick cowhide, printed on top the bag looks hand-stitched as well. I want to know what it's used for, but I couldn't find any matches to this specific shape online. I would also love to know the date made if possible since it looks old. Thank you. This is a leather case for a vintage camera. Judging by its shape, it is most likely a case from an old rangefinder or telemeter camera, probably from the 1950s or 1970s. These cases were made from thick cowhide and were designed not only for carrying the camera, but also for protecting it during photography. They often had a hinged lid with a lens opening, as seen in the photo, allowing the camera to be used without removing it from the case. Details: the brand Renwick cowhide refers to a manufacturer of leather products, not necessarily the camera itself. It could be a company that only produced custom-made cases or cases for popular models. The shape of the recesses inside is ideal for telemetry cameras with a protruding lens and a separate viewfinder. The 2 compartments in the upper part, in the first photo, could provide access to the camera and the viewfinder. The material is genuine cowhide leather, which confirms the durability and age of the item. The hole in the bottom allows access to the tripod mounting screw, which allows you to fasten the camera without removing it from the case. Intended use: the case was intended for everyday use. They carried the camera over their shoulder without removing the leather case from it. It was used by amateur and professional photographers in the era before the mass distribution of plastic cases. Approximate analogs: these cases came with Leica, Cononet, Yashica, Voigtlander, Argus, and other cameras from that period. An unknown metal object fell from the sky in North Carolina. While I was polishing my truck, I heard something hit the ground and then the bumper. On the chrome was a pea-sized, magnetic, triangular object. It was hot heavy for its size, with a pattern on both sides and an iridescent sheen. The metal automatically adopts the same position. What is it? The photos show a small triangular object with a rainbow iridescent sheen, a distinctive metallic sheen, and magnetic properties. According to the description, it fell from the sky, was hot to the touch, and magnetized itself to the chrome part of the car. These features are highly unusual, but upon closer examination, the object turns out to be of earthly origin. What is it? This is a magnetic element from a desktop gadget kit or a magnetic sculpture, an anti-stress toy consisting of many metal parts that can be assembled into different shapes. These elements are often made in the shape of smooth triangles, have a metallic sheen, and due to the built-in neodymium magnets, self-align when they come into contact with metal. Why does it magnetize and align? The magnets inside the part are arranged in such a way that when the part comes into contact with a surface, it always lies in a specific orientation, making it ideal for assembling geometric shapes and construction toys. Even when the part falls, it adjusts its position. But how did it fall from the sky? The most likely explanation is that a person on a roof, balcony, or window accidentally dropped the part, or a bird or animal may have brought it. Another possibility is that the part was on the roof of a car or in its components and simply fell off due to vibrations or thermal expansion in the sun. Bottom line, this is not a meteorite, a spy probe, or nanotechnology from the future, but a fragment of a very earthly magnetic fidget toy designed for play and relaxation. Despite its fall from the sky, Its origin is from desktop anti-stress kits. Seen on a biker, leather-looking wrap with studs. Not sure if attached to helmet, jacket, or head, about 8 foot long. Looks like black leather. The photo shows an accessory called a hair glove, a special leather or leatherette hair cover that is fixed on the tail and is used primarily by motorcyclists. What is it? Hair glove, or biker ponytail wrap, is a protective leather cover for the tail of hair. It keeps long hair in place while riding a motorcycle, preventing it from getting tangled, rubbing, or being whipped by the wind. The accessory is typically 6 to 10 inches long. It is closed with buttons, clasps, or zippers, and is often decorated with spikes, rivets, embroidery, metal elements, for example, butterflies, skulls, etc. Why bikers use hair glove? Protect hair from wind, dust, and dirt. Minimize the risk of hair getting into moving parts of the motorcycle. Element of style. Many make such gloves with a unique design. It is part of the subculture. In the first photo, it can be seen how the accessory hangs from the back of the biker's head. Based on its shape and length, it appears to be attached to the hair using buttons. This design with metal rivets is commonly seen in men's models without any decorative elements. It is not a part of the helmet or a vest, but rather a hair-based leather cover that is popular among long-haired motorcycle riders. Blunt serrated scissors, silver-plated, found at estate sale. What are these used for? They can't cut anything. In the photo, silver scissors for grapes, grape shears. It is a decorative but functional cutlery used in the 19th and 20th centuries, especially in affluent homes or for formal serving. What is it? Grape shears are special scissors with blunted but grooved blades designed not for cutting anything hard, but for neatly separating grapes or twigs from a brush. Their main purpose is to elegantly and hygienically separate a portion of grapes right on the table. Features: the blunt edges do not tear the berries, but gently bite through the stem. The serrated blades provide better grip on the soft wood of the stem. The silver finish or silver plating is a popular element in Victorian-era and vintage tableware. The grape-themed handles emphasize the purpose and serve as a decorative element at dinner parties. Historical context: such scissors were often included in silver tableware sets and were used when serving fruit in high society circles. Today, they have become a collectible item or a decorative element. Bottom line, these are not ordinary scissors, but antique scissors for serving grapes, a luxury item and a table etiquette of the past. Glass vials with yellow, blue, and orange liquid. These are the elements of a Galilean thermometer, an instrument based on the principle of changing the density of a liquid depending on temperature. Each glass float has a strictly defined mass and volume, so its density is slightly different from the others. The liquid inside the main cylinder also changes density when heated or cooled. As a result, some floats begin to sink, while others begin to float. The temperature is determined by the float, which is hanging below all floating ones. It corresponds to the current temperature value as indicated on its metal tag. This principle was discovered by Galileo, and has been used in decorative thermometers without any electronics ever since. It is one of the few ways to measure temperature purely through the laws of physics. Why does this glass ball have a distinctive bulge and swirl at one end? Is it a decorative element, or did it have a practical purpose? These are the elements of a Galilean thermometer, an instrument that measures temperature based on changes in liquid density. Inside a sealed glass cylinder are several glass floats, each with a specific mass and volume, making their densities slightly different. Attached to each float is a metal tag marked with a temperature value. As the temperature changes, the density of the surrounding liquid also changes. When it gets warmer, the liquid becomes less dense, and some floats sink. When it gets cooler, the liquid becomes denser, and other floats rise. The current temperature is shown by the lowest of the floating spheres. The tag on it indicates the ambient temperature. The principle was discovered by Galileo Galilei. These thermometers work entirely through physical laws, without electronics, and are valued both for their accuracy and elegant design. What is this thing? A paprika red, pig snout-like, ceramic device about the length of a can of cola, 4.5, tapering at one end. Inside, there is electronics, and a metal mesh on the back. It was found at a garage sale in the home of a German shoemaker, a former World War II prisoner of war who was interested in electronics. The cord is melted, and it cannot be turned on. It looks like a dryer or a heater, but I could not find anything similar online. The plug is from the 1950s or 1960s. This device is a rare household ceramic shoe heater or shoe dryer, probably manufactured in the mid-20th century. Made of glazed ceramic, it connects to an electrical outlet and emits heat that is directed into the shoes through two openings. Why is it a heater dryer? The body is made of heat-resistant ceramic, a material commonly used in the 1950s and 1960s for household heating devices. Two nostril-shaped nozzles direct the heat, which was inserted directly into boots or shoes. The mesh back is designed to dissipate heat and provide ventilation. The cord and plug are clearly from before the 1970s. Hammer and pick, this device could have been handmade or adapted by a captive shoemaker, especially if they had a passion for electronics and creating functional items from available materials. This explains both the unusual design and the uniqueness of the device. These devices were used to dry shoes during the cold season, especially leather shoes, to prevent them from becoming deformed or moldy. Today, such devices are almost unheard of and hold significant collectible value, especially considering their individualized design. Vintage plastic handheld viewer with a slot on top. I got this in an auction lot that contained a bunch of old binoculars, but I don't think these are binoculars because there is no opening on the other side and I don't see any way to open it. I think it's some type of viewer and you put a slide in the top? But I can't find anything out from searching the name, Delight, or Google image search. It says, made in Western Germany on the bottom. When I look inside, it looks kind of like an empty black projector screen. The knob makes the part you look through get longer and shorter, and there's a tiny button on the bottom that doesn't do anything noticeable. Thanks so much if you have any info. This mysterious object is a retro device for viewing stereo photographs, or rather a binocular slide viewer, stereo slide viewer, called Delight, produced in West Germany in the middle of the 20th century. Pushpin. How it works. The upper slit is designed to insert special stereo slides. These are two almost identical photos taken with a slight offset, simulating vision with two eyes. When you look through the eyepieces, your brain assembles the image into a single volumetric frame. This is the effect of 3D without any electronics. Wrench. The knob on the side controls the focus. The eyepieces move forward and backward slightly. Gear. The button at the bottom could either push the slide or simply lock it in place. Camera. Inside, there is a matte black surface that helps to improve contrast and depth perception. Magnifying glass. Tilted left. Why didn't you find it using the word Delight? It was a relatively unknown brand, and the technology of stereo viewing fell out of use with the advent of digital photography. However, an almost identical device can still be found for sale. For example, the lifelike FDV 401, almost one-to-one, just a different brand. Film frames. In short, this is an optical 3D viewer for vintage stereo photo slides. In the 1950s and 1970s, people used these devices to view family photos in 3D, without the need for glasses or screens. Today, it is a rare and aesthetically valuable piece of history in the field of visual technology. Metal life-sized model of left side of upper plus lower teeth, missing one top canine tooth with a tiny hole in the top where the space is. Top/bottom jaw are connected by a hinge. Found at a second-hand store years ago. I don't think it's a sculpture, but I don't even have a guess as to what it's supposed to be really. I'm not sure if the missing tooth spot was supposed to contain a separate piece or if the space is meant to be empty. Apologies in advance if this is something ineligible to post here, but I have no clue what it is, so I don't know if it's ineligible or not. VCabe produced these beautiful dental models in the 1920s that were used for training purposes. Each tooth is set and is held by a pin system that aligns perfectly to make a correct bite. The model is silver-plated and has signs of oxidation, but when you take the teeth out you can see the original luster. The top of the mouth flips in a horizontal position and it is held by the rear of the stand. This piece is serial 11876 and these unique training models are very scarce and hard to come by. The model is in excellent condition and is missing a few teeth as shown on the photos. The teeth on this set were adapted Columbia dental aluminum teeth from the same period that work great against the silver gums. Interesting object being towed on highway. 10-ish ft long, made of what looks like white and black metal or wood with a flat platform on the back and a cockpit-looking glass or plastic with a mirror hanging from it. No visible controls and only one wheel in the front. It looks interesting, I was just curious what it could be. It looks like it has a hinge on the very back. The photos show an unusual vehicle that has really caught the eye, and for good reason. This is a solar-powered racing car designed for student engineering competitions such as the American Solar Challenge, Formula Sun Grand Prix, or similar events. What you can see in the photos: a streamlined, elongated body with an aerodynamic shape, minimizing air resistance. A single visible front wheel, typical of the three-wheel layout, 2 wheels in the back, 1 in the front, often used in such designs. A cabin under a transparent dome with a mirror. For the driver, the glass facilitates visibility with minimal weight. A flat top panel, most likely covered with solar panels. Despite the rain, they are the main driving force of the machine. A rear part with a bend or hinge, possible access to batteries, motor or transmission. What is it? This is an experimental solar car built by a university team as part of a scientific project. These cars use only solar energy, which is stored in batteries through photovoltaic panels. Their goal is not speed in the classic sense, but efficiency, range, and engineering innovations. Why do they do this? Participate in competitions such as the Formula Sun Grand Prix or the World Solar Challenge. Research alternative energy sources, aerodynamics, and lightweight materials. Develop practical skills for engineering and technical students. An interesting fact: such cars are often transported on trailers, as in the photo, as they have a low ground clearance, limited power, and are not always designed to drive on normal roads, especially in the rain. Therefore, they are transported to competitions in this way. Could that device in your neighbor's yard, the one that emits high-pitched sounds or flashes lights, be meant to scare something away? The image shows an ultrasonic animal repellent device that is used in gardens, yards, and suburban areas. It is an electronic device with a solar panel, a motion sensor, usually an infrared sensor, and 2 ultrasonic speakers. When an animal, such as a cat, dog, fox, or deer, crosses the sensor's field of view, the device instantly activates high-frequency sound waves and sometimes a flashing light. These waves are unpleasant for animals, but are not audible to most humans. Why it is used: repelling wild animals or stray animals that destroy beds, flower beds, and lawns. Preventing marking of territory, especially by cats. Protecting plants or fences from damage. How it works: 1. The solar panel charges the built-in battery. 2. The motion sensor, at the bottom center, detects movement. 3. The device emits ultrasound and/or flashing light. 4. The animal is frightened and leaves the area. This is a popular tool in eco-friendly solutions for protecting an area. It is harmless, works autonomously, and does not require constant attention. Silver stick, 15.5 centimeters, with bands and a small holes in a flat-faced end. Marked La Mulata, found among deceased relatives' collection of silver things, some cutlery, some jewelry, all in same box. Cocktail stirrer was first guess, but I worry it would get sticky and unpleasant behind the holes in the flattened bit. This item is called a bombilla, a metal tube with a filter designed for drinking mate, a traditional South American beverage made from the leaves of the yerba mate plant. Distinguishing features: at the bottom, there is a filter with holes that prevents the leaves from entering the mouth. Or at the top, there is a tube through which the drink is consumed. They are often made of metal, sometimes silver, and may be decorated with engravings. The name La Mulata is probably a brand or a collection name. Where it is used, it is especially popular in Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Brazil. The tea is brewed in a special cup, calabash, and the bombilla is inserted directly into the brewed leaves. What is this contraption? Looks to me like a pole with a 7-Eleven cup on one end. The photo shows a specialist holding a telescopic rod with a transparent bowl at the end. This is a smoke detector tester. The device is designed to test the functionality of fire detectors without the need to climb stairs. The principle of operation is simple. The operator brings the bowl to the ceiling sensor, activates the built-in sprayer, and artificial smoke and aerosol that simulates smoke is injected into the sensor. If the detector is functional, it will activate. This test is mandatory during the maintenance of fire safety systems in buildings with high ceilings. Wrench: the device consists of a telescopic pole, can reach up to 4 to 6 meters, a transparent plastic bowl into which the sensor is inserted, or a sprayer or a capsule with a smoke simulator inside the body. This is a professional tool that is often used by fire departments, security engineers, and technical personnel in office, commercial, and industrial buildings.